Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Marin, and the topic I'll be discussing with you today is street harassment. A little bit about me is that I'm from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, and I currently commute to Whitewater. I'm a public relations major, and my minor is advertising, and I'm a fifth year, and that is why I'm commuting this year. Did you know that 78% of women have experienced some kind of street harassment? And street harassment includes catcalling, physical intimidation, and unwanted touching. Only 25% of these women say someone has stepped in to help them in a situation that they felt uncomfortable with. In this presentation, we are going to take a deeper dive on street harassment and how to prevent it from happening. Also, we will talk about my reactions, other people's reactions, and how it has impacted me personally. The title of the article is "Here's What Happened When I Turned the Tables on a Street Harasser." This was published on July 27th, 2021. The author, his name is Ernest Owens. This was published in the Philadelphia Magazine. And then, as I talked or said before, the article is or what the title says, it's about Ernest Owens and how he stopped a street harasser from a woman. Um, so why I want to talk about street harassment? I want to talk about street harassment because women across the entire world are affected by it. We as a society need to stop letting this kind of stuff happen. Our culture has really just like somewhat encouraged it, has encouraged it, and just we don't, we haven't thought of it as a real problem, which is something of concern. So street harassment can diminish a woman's feelings of safety and comfort. It can restrict a woman's freedoms, which is something that is just horrible to think about. We have to clean up our streets, and part of the process is by stopping these people from doing this. In a scenario where street harassment happens, there is no right or wrong way to respond if it's happening to you because you're a victim, and a lot of the times it's just difficult to cope with what's actually happening. So, the summary of my article that I read, Ernest Owens, who is the writer, was walking downtown in Philadelphia when he witnessed a man walking in circles around a woman, and he was looking up and down her body. This is what you call a look but don't touch mindset, as Ernest explained in the article. Many men use this because they don't think it is catcalling. Ernest, who is a gay African American man, felt like he needed to step in, but he really didn't know how the street harasser would respond. Um, this is known as the bystander effect. The bystander effect is the greater amount of people that are present, the less likely people are to help a person in distress, which is crazy to me. Um, and a lot of the time, Ernest explains how he didn't know how the street harasser would respond. So, and he did not want things to get violent. So he was figuring out how to step in. So he decided to walk closer and closer to the male harasser, And he was basically did the same thing he was doing to the woman. He was staring at the man up and down his body. The street harasser ended up getting very irritated with Owens, and then he ended up walking away from the woman. Uh, and then while he was walking away, he yelled a homophobic slur to Owens, which is just absolutely pathetic. So yeah, that's basically the summary. It's a woman was at a light in a bit crowded area in Philadelphia, where it's a pretty big area too. It's the main area you talked about in the article, where a bunch of tourists go and everyone. So it's one big area. Everyone's congested, and this happens all the time there. He finally thought enough was enough, and he stepped in. And this is what we need to do, in my opinion, as a society. We gotta have strength in numbers and stop this kind of stuff from happening. And we got the bystander effect. We can't have that happen anymore. People have to step in. Um, so concerning gender, I talk about it a little bit. So while I was reading this article, it makes me think what women go through just trying to live their life. Being constantly harassed by male aggressors just is really terrible. It's a terrible thing. Um, some effects of street harassment are physical responses, physical safety, emotional reactions, and psychological symptoms. And this is primarily happening with females, and it's something as a male I don't I don't go through, or like it won't happen to me. Um, I need to worry about it though, street harassment, because as a society, I think we have to take a step in the right direction and realize this is a big concern for females and even some males. It happens to, but obviously for females, if they don't feel like they can go outside and just live their normal life, that is just wrong. And as a society, we need to fix that. It's limiting their freedoms. So basically, I feel like men and women just have to work together in these scenarios. As I talked about earlier, strength in numbers. I really believe that would work. Um, it, so basically, our society, in my opinion, just needs to encourage or stop encouraging this type of behavior. As I said earlier, our society normalizes it, and it's just wrong. So something shocking to me that I talked about earlier too is the bystander effect. Um, that again is the more people that are around, the less likely some people are to step in and help someone. When someone sees someone struggling or in distress, I would immediately try helping that person because the way I was raised, I just feel like I couldn't let something happen like that. I have been in a scenario where I've had to break up fights and stuff by just being a bystander, trying to be a good Samaritan. So I hope if I would ever see this happen, I would step in. I believe I would, and not let this kind of thing happen. And I can't believe when street harassment happens, only 25% of the time someone steps in. That is just crazy to me. That the bystander effect is that real. Because how would you like to have that happening to like your daughter or anyone in your family, anyone just in general? Like somebody just watch that happen and not step in? Um, so a couple facts. Street harassment takes place in public spaces 71% of the time for females. 91% of lesbian or bisexual women have been sexually assaulted compared to 70% of straight women. And then street harassment affects 50% of gay or bisexual men versus 26% of straight men. Those numbers are pretty shocking to me. I would say that so many more gay or lesbian people are affected by street harassment compared to straight males or females. That was a number that kind of just surprised me, jumped off the page. Um, yeah, and then some communication behaviors I'd like to talk about. So the impact of this article can have can have a big impact on communication behavior with people in Philadelphia because this is like where the event happened. I would sure hope this article in the city of Philadelphia take action after reading this and it getting around. We need more people who are watching harassment or who see sexual harassment happen step in and be assertive to help the victim out. We have to stop having so many people be passive because that does nothing. If things turn aggressive, make sure to be smart and try to de-escalate the situation. So why did we learn? Why did I want like to learn about this and like talk to you guys about this? We need to learn about street harassment because street harassment limits people's access to public spaces and lowers their comfort level. It can cause people to choose less convenient routes, um, just walking down the street. People can give up hobbies and just change their habits in life, which is just something that should not have to happen. And people even quit jobs because of this and move to different neighborhoods because harassment has been so bad. Street harassment is sorry. Street harassment is really not like taken seriously, and we need to fix that. It just degrades women, and it's not a joke. It's real, and people don't understand that. So to wrap up my article that I read, I want to just stress by being a bystander hurts our society. If you see something that's happening that's wrong, you need to step in. We need people to step up and make a difference in this world. We need to clean up our streets. Remember the strength in numbers work. Let your voice be heard. Street harassment is not a joke, and we need to stop letting it happen. Um, I learned a lot reading this article about street harassment. I hope you did too, listening to my presentation, that it's a real thing and we need it to stop. And yes, street harassment is wrong. Here's my works cited or in my sources.